Hi, welcome to the USP Welcome to the USP.
Welcome to the USP LGBTQIA plus podcast. Whoa, fun.
Welcome to the USP LGBTQ plus podcast. We're doing this as part of LGBT History Month, and we've got some members of the LGBTQ society here with us. We're going to be having an open discussion, so let's go round the group first, and then we'll go and learn some history. So, I'm Nathan. I'm a straight man, and I work at USP College. I'm here as an ally, and my pronouns are he, him.
I'm Emily Church. I'm a student at USP College. I'm a bisexual woman, and my pronouns are they, she.
My name is Abby. I am a lesbian, and my pronouns are she, they, and I'm a proud member of Palmers.
My name's Morgan. I'm bisexual and non-binary. My pronouns are they, them.
I'm Jess. My pronouns are she, they. I'm a bisexual woman.
My name is Shannon. I am panromantic asexual. My pronouns are she, her.
I'm Kai, and I'm a bisexual trans man. My pronouns are he, him, and I'm a proud student at USP College.
My name's Ben. I'm a USP College student. I'm gay, and my pronouns are he, him.
Yes, King!
I just want to say how grateful I am that you all mentioned how much you love being a USP student.
I just did
Someone
it.
did this, I felt obliged to.
I skipped it.
So
Yeah,
proud to be
same.
a student here.
Yeah, well, it's great that you're as proud of that
Oh,
as
yes.
your integral identity.
Palmers.
I'm proud of being
What are you guys going to do when you leave?
Cry.
Cry.
Where's your identity
Stop
going
being
to go?
gay.
Yeah.
Become straight. Go back into the closet.
I'm leaving in 4 months.
Right, so first we're going to go to Morgan with some history.
So, this month is February of 2022, which is LGBT History Month. The year 2022 is home to the 50th anniversary of the first London Pride, which was hosted on the 1st of July in 1972, following the Stonewall Riots.
Where did the Stonewall Riots happen?
The Stonewall Riots happened at the Stonewall Inn in Greenwich Village neighbourhood of New York City.
Oh, right. Do you know what happened there?
So the riots were a series of demonstrations by members of the gay community, led by Marsha P. Johnson, in response to a police raid that began in the early morning hours of June 28th, 1969 at the Stonewall Inn.
Oh, right. So was the Stonewall Inn like a big gay spot in New York?
Yes.
All right. Yeah, because I know they got a scene out there, haven't they?
Yes, they do.
Anyway, I think it would be nice if we went through the acronym of LGBTQ+. So, would anyone like to say anything about the L's? What does L stand for?
Lesbian!
So what does a lesbian mean?
I'm a woman that loves women and women only.
That's what a lesbian is.
That's, at least to me,
Alright.
that's how I found myself a lesbian, is that I am romantically and anyway attracted to other women. Confusing road, as it's perpetuated that I should not be so. However, I am, and I am proud of that fact.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
So, I don't want to go too far into all personal histories and everything, but do you have a rough idea of when you kind of figured that out? When you figured like you weren't like other girls, so to speak?
I went to an all-girls convent.
Oh, wow.
Oh no.
That is a cesspool for gays. And it wasn't like, oh, gay bad, but it was very, like, looked down on to even just be like hold hands, hug your friends, whatever. And my group of friends were very, I didn't know what like bisexual was and that until secondary school. I thought there was gay, man, lesbian, but all my friends were gay, and they were like, I don't know, we were all just gay. And I sort of found out, as I learned more about the community, I was like, I think that's what I am. So that was when I was in like year 9, and I was bisexual for some amount of time, but I realised that's just because I thought inherently I was attracted to men anyway, but that was never really a thing. It's just a figment of my imagination, and so now I'm out and proud.
Alright, so sometimes people's like label or whatever it is, that can change. Would you say that's due to them in their own brain actually changing, or is it them just coming to understand themselves better?
I think it's probably coming to understand, because like I said, I didn't know like about the LGBT community until I was a lot older, and I feel like you can't really know what you are if you don't know it exists, if that makes sense. And so in my mind I was like, I've been shown what gay looks like, I'm not gay, I can't be gay. And whenever it's a I don't want to go too deep into it, but I feel like there's not as much representation for lesbians in anything. It's like, oh, you have a gay friend, I'm going to assume that's a gay white man. And like, I have like a rainbow bag, I walk around with a rainbow bag. If Ben did that, if a gay man did that, oh, he's a gay man. If I walk around with a rainbow bag, oh, she just likes rainbows. If that makes sense.
Yes.
And so I am lucky that I was surrounded by other LGBT people, and I grew up with shows like Drag Race and that, and so I was exposed to the community a lot younger, and so for that fact, I'm lucky.
Okay, so what comes after L?
That would be G.
G. Have we
Standing
got any
for?
G's in the house?
Ben's a G.
The G stands for gay.
What is
Usually
gay?
mean-
What does gay mean?
I mean, gay just means like same-sex attraction, so it can apply to men and women, but I would say usually it applies more to men.
And sometimes people say gay, it just means like the whole community is like, that's the umbrella term sometimes.
I mean, it can do, but people like to be known as something different. So like, because people want to be known, like, and be seen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how long have you been fruity for?
I don't know if that's the correct terminology.
That's definitely the correct
Now we know
terminology.
it is.
Well, I feel like personally I've always known, but it wasn't something that I was okay with for a long time. Like, not that I just didn't like it, it was like I didn't want other people to know in case they felt different about me. So it was something that was always in the back of my head, but I didn't like start letting people know until I felt comfortable, like maybe year 9, year 10.
Who did you tell first? Like, who did you sort of
That was
come up to
really
first?
funny because I had decided that I wanted to tell people, but I would never wanted to be the type of person to be like, oh, by the way, I'm gay. So I was decided when next time someone asks me, I'm gonna tell them. And then it happened. I was in Spanish, and this boy asked me, and I was like, ooh. And I sat there for a second and decided whether I wanted to, and I did. And then yeah.
We could discuss which boy later. Alright, yeah, so that's like... And then saying it out loud, did it feel good, or did you feel like scared at that
Did
point?
you ever regret
It
it?
was scary for like the first 5 seconds, but he was like really nice about it, so
Yeah.
it was okay.
Did it feel like a weight lifted off your shoulders?
No, because it wasn't something that I cared about. Like, it didn't bother me. I am as I am.
What's the best part about being a gay man?
Ooh, I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you.
No pregnancies.
Oh yeah, that is so great.
No pregnancy.
No pregnancy scares.
Yeah.
I guess that would be beneficial.
Have you had any negative feedback on coming out as gay?
You know what? This is a microaggression because the way, whenever I would tell people, they were like, oh, I don't mind because you don't act too gay. So there's a level of gay that you can be, clearly.
Yeah. So is that in terms of like how you express yourself in, I guess the term that they're really measuring you upon is like campness.
Yeah, but I don't know where they draw the line.
Yeah.
Have you ever found yourself in the gay best friend stereotype?
What do you mean? Explain.
As in, you know, a lot of girls will be like, oh, I really want a gay best friend. I want this gay man that I can just boost me up and we can talk about boys. Have you ever felt like that? Like,
No, I feel like I've had like 2 people say it as a joke.
right, okay.
But I know there are actual girls that were like, I want a gay best friend. It's so cute.
Take you under their wing.
Yeah. Let's have sleepovers together.
Alright, so what comes after G? LGB.
B?
Have we got any B's in the house?
Yes, we do.
Alright.
My
Bees, am I right?
Not really, no.
Yeah, bees, am I right?
So, B's.
Buzz buzz.
What's going on with the B's these days?
Well, bisexual,
Yeah.
bees, means that I'm attracted to one or more genders, including the same and opposite sex as me.
Okay, right. So, the bisexuals, how would you say they're viewed like within the LGBT community?
I'd say it's quite split.
Split.
With a lot of lesbians having this stereotype and this idea of bisexual women that they cheat.
Right.
They have this idea that bisexual women are greedy and that they'll cheat and eventually go back to a man, which is incorrect, and it's incredibly harmful for people in the community.
Yeah. And yeah, I think with the bisexuals, like the stereotype often, it's that the bisexual women are secretly straight.
Yeah.
And they're just pretending.
Yeah.
And the bisexual men are secretly gay and they're just saying it to
Yeah.
water it down.
Definitely.
Which always ends up with men being the ultimate preference.
Yeah, it's just that some people can't fathom the fact that that women can have meaningful connections with other women and not just men. It's quite misogynistic in that way.
Would you say like bisexuality is kind of the most sexualized sexuality in a sense?
100%, yeah.
Yeah, it definitely is, because you'll get men that kind of look at two women being together and they would favour that, and in a way it would be a kink for them, and that in a way would disgust a lot of bisexual people. You get that a lot with bisexual men as well when they're dating another male and they'd be sexualised by a straight female, and that would also kind of put them in a position where it would be awkward, and it's just not very nice in a way.
So a lot of that kind of sounds like it's mainly being viewed as something for another person to consume rather than being your own autonomous person.
And I feel
100%.
like people view it as more experimental than a concrete. You are
Yeah.
bisexual.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I'm
you're just
never-
confused.
I'm never taken very seriously.
Yeah.
When I say I'm bisexual, I've been told a lot of the time by people older than me as well that it's just a phase and I'll pick one eventually.
Would you say it's worse that you're in a straight relationship as well?
Yeah, definitely. People ignore that side of me and they just see the gender of the person who I'm with.
And being bisexual, in general, you do get quite a lot of bad names that are quite derogatory. So you get called greedy and stuff like that because people view it as you can't choose one gender.
Yeah.
So that also puts a bit of a downfall on being bisexual.
Okay, so another thing with all the genders and that, let's just move on straight away to the transgenders.
The T's.
So, in terms of, the bisexuals apparently want all the genders. What's going on with the transgenders?
To be transgender means that you do not identify with the gender you were assigned at birth. So for me personally, I was assigned female at birth, but I identify as a male.
So what bad experiences have you had as a trans male?
Personally, it's mainly like the fact that people are like, oh, you're too young to know, or oh, are you sure you're not just a masculine lesbian, and things like that. And it's like, no, my entire life I've been thinking I was a tomboy, but
Yeah.
not really.
And looking at the past, the idea of a tomboy or whatever the equivalent is for the other way around, it seems like a lot of the people who have historically been that have either not necessarily come out but been understood way better now that we have a language to discuss it with. And it reminded me of something someone put on Twitter, I can't remember who it was, but it was in relation to the fact that at the moment there are way more transgender people than there have been in the past, and they shared a graphic. It was of a chart showing the number of people who were left-handed from 1900 to 2000, and as schools began to recognise, 10% of the population is left-handed, it went up way more because previously they just forced left-handed people to write with their right hand. And that's probably why a lot of people had worse handwriting in the past as well. But instead of forcing people to do something that isn't right for them, there's an option for them to be like themselves, whether that's left-handed or a gender other than the one that they were assigned at birth.
Yeah,
So there's just way more language to discuss it with.
Yeah, I've noticed that people say, oh, there's a transgender craze going around. Well, it's really not. It's more, we've been around for years. The first lady who created Pride was actually a black transgender woman, so it's not unknown.
Would you say there is more representation in the media and stuff like that than there was before in anything
definitely.
that you watch or anything like that?
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot more representation. But something I will mention is that there seems to be more representation for white trans masculine individuals rather than trans feminine individuals and people of colour rather than white people.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, we're making progress, the fact that we've
Yeah.
got some representation going on, but it does need to be sorted. Also, the body types as well. The stereotype for a trans person is a skinny white trans masculine person, where in reality there's lots more different types of trans people. Even some non-binary individuals consider themselves transgender. identify with that label. So it's really based on personal preference, not one specific stereotype.
Are there any particular like TV shows or movies that you've seen that you'd say
That
accurately?
question. Have you ever watched Euphoria?
I personally have not, but I have heard of it.
I'm not saying Euphoria is the great portrayal of issues, but there is a trans character, Jules, who is male to female transitioned, and there's a good storyline going on where they're confused about their gender and they're wondering whether they are transitioned. And I think that's a really interesting thing because a lot of people that discover it so young really aren't sure of what they identify as, and I think it's good to show that it is okay to be confused and that you don't have to box yourself in once you transition as well.
Yeah, I mean, me personally, there was like a lot of confusion as a child because I often, like, in my head I kind of saw myself as a boy, but there was never any, I was never told about what it meant to be transgender as a younger kid, so it was kind of like, this is like, I'm weird, I'm different, I'm strange in some way. But now that there's representation about it, I think that a lot of people in the future might have less of that struggle, and also the denial phase may be less as well, because that was horrible.
Speaking of gender identity and confusion surrounding gender identity, Morgan, have you any thoughts on gender labels, etc., etc.?
Are we on Q+ now? So Morgan, you introduced yourself, you said they, didn't you?
Yes. So I am non-binary
going on?
and I use they, them pronouns, meaning I exist or I identify outside of the gender binary scale.
So that's men and women.
Yes.
So
I'm
if that's
neither of them.
a spectrum and there's one on either end, you don't think you're between the two, you think you're just floating separate away from that graph?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you have times where you wake up and you want to be more feminine, more masculine, or do you stick within they, them?
I mean, I stick with they, them, but there are some times in which I dress more feminine than masculine. I wouldn't say that I'm gender fluid because I'm very dead set that I'm not male or female. I don't switch between the two and I don't change my pronouns. But
just you?
Yeah.
That's what you're most focused on.
Just Morgan.
Just me.
With fear of this coming across ignorant, but Morgan, the name Morgan is quite gender fluid anyway, but
Yeah,
were there ever
yeah,
points you
unisex.
considered changing your name along with your gender identity?
Good
Or is
question.
that a loaded question?
It's a very loaded question. Yes, actually. I had a chat with Eli about this and Leo. Yeah, so I had a chat with them about it, but I was like, you know what, no, for now, I'll stick with Morgan. You know, there are times in which, like, I've come into college and I've, you know, taken a quick peek into student services and snuck a he, they badge in my pocket. But, you know, that's currently sitting on my desk, hidden for now.
Straight person in the room, but you kind of lucked out with that name because it's quite a good
Yeah,
name for
I
both
did.
genders.
Yeah.
Were you always they, them, or were you she, they beforehand?
Yeah, so I went from she, her to she, they, and then they, them.
Do you feel like when you were she, they was more invalidated than when you were they, them?
Oh,
More
100%.
than they, them?
When there's, when it's she, they, or he, they, people usually stick with the she or the he instead of going for the they, them.
Okay, so I think we're going to close it out with our last topic being asexuality. So could you give us a brief idea of what that is, please?
So asexuality is when you don't feel, you either feel little to no sexual attraction towards others. So you don't, where some people might look at someone and say, oh yeah, I'd like to have sex with that person. Asexual people don't tend to do that with anyone. It doesn't necessarily mean they don't want to have sexual intercourse with anyone, it just means they don't feel that type of attraction with people. They could still have romantic relationships or emotional bonds with people. It just doesn't necessarily mean they have any sexual attraction or desire.
Okay, so in society, asexual people, do you think they generally feel the need to announce themselves, or do they just take it as it comes?
Usually they wouldn't like outright be like, oh yeah, I am asexual, because as much as like people are very accepting in comparison to what they used to be, we still get quite a bit of invalidation from both straight and the LGBTQ plus society. But when they would definitely need to like tell their partners about it if they get into relationships and just clarify. Just in case like their partner has sex drive and stuff like that.
Is it scary to tell your partners or anything, that's how you're feeling?
Yeah, it is. Me personally, being in relationships in the past, they haven't really worked out because of the fact that I am asexual, especially with most of my partners being like having a very
High sex
drive where they're getting to that age where like their hormones are running mad and everything. So me telling them that I am asexual and don't feel that type of attraction towards them put like spanner in the works and caused the relationship to end.
Yeah.
Pretty
Are there
roughly.
any benefits?
Do you think that it could allow for a deeper connection with someone?
It could if there is that understanding between two people. But they'd really they'd have to find someone who is willing to maybe not have to have intercourse to keep that bond, or some asexual people are welcome into an open relationship. So like if their partner really has that kind of sex drive, they can go take care of those needs with other people but still have an emotional bond to the asexual person. But yeah, it is.
People need to realise you can be a nice person that cares about your appearance and how you're perceived, and still
Yeah.
not want to do that with someone. I had to stop myself.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
Hope this
I
was
think
enlightening.
overall
Yeah.
we've done all right. Hopefully,
Yeah.
whoever's listening to this, you will learn something from this.
Or feel comforted.
Or, perhaps you've been seen. And the LGBT community, it has a place at USP College. It has
You can find
extracurricular
us.
clubs.
We're everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We look
Try-
exactly how you look.
Everywhere you look, we are there.
Try upstairs in the A block.
A25.
A25 is the
You'll
one.
hear us.
On
Mondays and Wednesdays especially. That is my
Mondays and
LGBT.
Hear us,
Wednesdays,
see us, smell us.
12:30, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's Palmer's campus, to be clear. Thank you very much for listening.
Stay gay. Stay woke.
Anyone else want to say goodbye?
Bye.
Bye.
So there might be some editing required still.
T.